In today's world of advanced technology and heightened security, one would think that high-stake bank heists are a thing of the past, especially now that cash is no longer king. But believe it or not, major bank robberies and jewel heists still occur around the world. And I'm not talking about Hollywood. Check out our list of top 20 biggest bank robberies ever. The Dunbar Armored Robbery. In 1997, 6 men pulled off what remains the biggest bank heist in the history of the United States. $18.9 million gone. The gang leader was Alan Pace, who worked as a safety inspector for the Dunbar Armored Trucking Company. Pace mastered the security camera's movement at the Dunbar facility in Los Angeles and recruited 5 childhood friends to help him rob the vault. Surprisingly, the heist was not caught on camera. The 6 stayed rich and famously unidentified. One day, one robber accidentally gave a real estate broker a stack of cash found with the original currency straps. The 6 were caught and slapped with sentences ranging between 8 and 24 years in front of cameras and prison guards. The Unified California Bank Heist. In 1972, Amil Dinsio, a professional criminal from Ohio, assembled a crew of 6 robbers and flew them to California. They rented a townhouse and planned a heist on a Bank of America where they had heard President Richard Nixon kept a multi-million-dollar slush fund. The interesting fact is, the crew dynamited their way into the vault, stole $9 million in cash and diamonds, and fled. Again, this bunch went scot-free for a while until a hygiene issue smoked them out. The FBI found the house they had rented. It was all clean except for some plates in the dishwasher. Always listen to your mama. Hit the big thumb at the bottom to show us some love. The British Bank of the Middle East Robbery. In 1976, when Lebanon was in the midst of a civil war, a group of bank robbers decided to cash in on the chaos. In one of the biggest bank robberies of all time, the group used explosives to burst through the wall of a Catholic church and enter the neighboring British Bank of the Middle East. They brought with them professional locksmiths to crack open the vault and made away with anywhere from $20 to $50 million worth of gold bars, Lebanese and foreign currency, stocks, and jewels. None of the loot was recovered and no one was arrested. The Northern Bank Robbery. The week before Christmas of 2004, robbers in Belfast, Northern Ireland, dressed as police officers and entered the homes of 2 bank managers. Their families were held hostage and the managers were instructed to go to work as usual the next day. When the workday ended, the managers let the thieves into the bank where they stole 26.5 million British pounds and additional foreign currencies, all totaling $41 million. This was the biggest bank robbery in Irish history and is still unsolved. The Brinks Mat Burglary. Britain's most notorious bank heist was an inside job. On the morning of the heist in 1983, a Brinks Mat security guard named Anthony Black led a group of robbers into the company's warehouse at London's Heathrow Airport. Once inside, they tied staff and poured petrol all over them, threatening them with a lit match if they did not reveal the combination numbers of the vault. The robbers thought that they were going to steal $4.3 million in cash. Instead, they found and stole $34.9 million worth of gold, diamonds, and cash. 2 men were convicted, but the majority of the gold has never been recovered. The Banco Central Burglary. In 2005, Banco Central, burglarized in Fortaleza, Brazil, was once recognized by Guinness Book of World Records as the world's greatest bank robbery. To pull it off, a 25-member gang set up a fake landscaping business. They spent 3 months digging a 256-foot tunnel that led up to and through the bank's vault floor. Once inside, they stole several containers that held 160 million Brazilian real, equivalent to $71.6 million. A bank spokesperson stated that the risks were too small to justify the insurance premiums. Only 8 people were arrested and only 20 million real was recovered. The Securitas Depot Robbery. The largest cash robbery in Britain's history went down in 2006 at a security services company's warehouse in Kent. An inside man had filmed the interior of the Securitas Depot in preparation. Then, men clad in elaborate masks kidnapped the branch manager and held his family hostage. Despite their clever disguises, some of the robbers were caught, and the makeup artist who designed the mask became a key witness in the case. The criminals left the depot with over $83 million in cash and abandoned another $187 million, only because they did not have the room to take it. They could have tipped someone about it, right? The Kingsbridge Security Deposit Robbery. Valerio Vici, along with an assistant, walked into a bank and asked to rent a safe deposit box. When the men were led to the vault, they pulled out guns and overpowered the bank manager and guards. After putting a closed sign on the bank door, they let in some friends, broke into as many of safe deposit boxes as possible, and made away with $97 million in cash and valuables of an unknown amount. Vici fled to South America, but was eventually arrested when he returned to England to ship his Ferrari to his new home. Confidence or plain stupid? Let's get your thoughts in the comments section. The Dar es Salaam bank heist. To this day, few details are known about the $282 million theft at Dar es Salaam Bank in Baghdad. It is also unclear why the bank had so much American cash in the first place on the morning of July 11, 2007. Allegedly, the theft was orchestrated by several bank guards. The government suspected the robbers also had contacts within local cops and militias that allowed them to pass through the many checkpoints across Baghdad undetected. The Central Bank of Iraq robbery. The victim was none other than Iraqi dictator Saddam Hussein. One day before the Iraq War began in 2003, he sent 3 large trucks to the central bank. He also sent his son Qusay with a handwritten note asking to withdraw nearly $1 billion to keep safe from enemies. Tasked with counting the bills, American soldiers pinched $920 million. 35 service members were caught. Chelembra Bank Robbery, India. The December 30, 2007 Chelembra heist was led by Vaniyam Purakal Joseph, aka Babu. Babu had rented the vacant restaurant storefront beneath the Bank of Kerala and pretended to be renovating the space. Over a long holiday weekend, the team cracked through the floor of the bank's strong room and used glass cutting tools to open the iron safes. $67,000 and 80 kilograms of gold was all that awaited them, all valued at $1.2 million. 2 months later, the kingpin was arrested. 80% of the loot was recovered, and he revealed his accomplices and the location of the other 20%. Iceland's biggest Bitcoin heist. In late 2017, a group of thieves successfully broke into Advania data center in Iceland, stealing 550 Bitcoin computers. They also took accessories worth approximately $2 million, which they used to mine Bitcoin. The group, led by Sindri Thor Stephenson, had orchestrated 4 computer thefts earlier. 2 weeks after the Advania burglary, Stephenson and his partners were arrested. Stephenson briefly managed to break out of prison and flee to Amsterdam, before being arrested there and extradited to Iceland to stand trial. Nigerian 419 scammers. They are now popularly known as the Nigerian Prince scammers, or the 419 fraud. This worldwide gang of fraudsters crafted increasingly credible-sounding and well-informed emails to coerce the recipients into forking over cash via wire transfer, check, or loaded gift cards. The thieves used a variety of techniques, including inventing romantic relationship with their targets, convincing their victims to receive and ship packages or return merchandise, requesting their contacts to deposit fraudulent checks, and other crafty ideas. When it was discovered, the scammers had already siphoned $2.6 million. This fraud continues, so look out. Agricultural Bank of China robbery. 2 bank vault managers were inspired and emboldened by their branch manager, who stole $33,000, gambled it, won a large prize, and reimbursed the vault without incident. Ren Jiaofang and Ma Zhejing were complicit in the plan and decided to pull it off again on a much larger scale. Throughout March and April of 2007, the pair stole $5.4 million from the bank and gambled nearly the entire sum on lottery tickets. Sadly, luck was not in their favor. Ma was arrested in Beijing on April 18th, and Ren was found a day later in Liaojiang, a coastal town in Jingzhou province. Loomis Fargo heist. This is the true story behind Masterminds, a movie starring Zach Galifianakis. It was one of the largest bank robberies in U.S. history. It was also an inside job and started as a joke. David Gant worked as a vault guard for Loomis Fargo. The amazing fact is he decided to actualize the joke at the end of the shift on October 4, 1997. Gant loaded up a van with $25.9 million and made a break to Mexico. His partner in crime, childhood friend Steve Chambers, helped with the logistics. They might have gotten away with it if it were not for Chambers' telltale sign of lifestyle upgrades and bribery. Nokus robbery. David Tosca, a notorious Norwegian robber, gathered a gang of associates, former inmates, and childhood friends, and started planning to rob the Nokas cash handling facility. In order to delay police response, smoke grenades, a burning truck, and tire spikes were strategically placed around police headquarters. The gang escaped with $13.5 million in different currencies. The 13 men were arrested, convicted, and sentenced to a total of 181 years in prison on March 10, 2006. In the 10 years from 1994 to 2004, Norwegian police fired some 79 shots. 48 of these were fired during the Nokas robbery in 2004. This story is a basis for the movie titled Nokas, which premiered on the 1st of October 2010. Graf Diamond Robbery. It took place on August 6, 2009, when two men posed as customers entered the premises of Graf Diamonds in New Bond Street, London. They stole jewelry worth $65 million. The robbers had hired a professional makeup artist to alter their skin tones, allegedly for a music video. The disguised men then took a taxi to the shop near closing time and ordered the clerk to fill the suitcases they'd brought with the 42 displayed jewelry items. They left the shop and switched vehicles 3 times by shooting in the air to carjack the next ride. Unfortunately, one of their stolen cars rammed a cab and their disposable mobile phone was left jammed in the seat. The phone was used to track and arrest the mastermind, Amil Dinsio, and others. None of the jewelry was recovered. Great. The theft of $3.4 million does not sound like much, but that was big money in 1963 when thieves stole mail bags from a Royal Mail train in England. The tale of the theft entered British history as it was accomplished using only a metal bar. Most of the 17-strong gang were captured and imprisoned, but Ronnie Biggs and Charles Wilson escaped. Everyone is a suspect, as you'll see next. Ferdinand Marcos. Former Philippine President Ferdinand Marcos was a greedy man. He is widely believed to have taken between $5 and $10 billion through government loans, bribes, embezzlement, taking over private companies, and outright theft. The proceeds were put in foreign bank accounts and invested in real estate in the United States. He was toppled by massive protests and died in exile in Hawaii in 1989. Authorities have so far recovered more than $4 billion in assets. Which of these biggest bank robberies shocked you the most? Do you know of any other incidents like these? Let us know in the comment section. Like always, if you enjoyed it, be sure to give us a big thumbs up and leave us some love in the comment section. To keep up to date with all of our awesome videos, be sure to hit subscribe and turn your notifications on to never miss a thing. Until next time, do take care of yourself.